All right, so today we're going to be taking a deep dive into this story of Evelyn Baker. She was a woman from Pensacola, Florida, and at 70 years old, she seemingly triumphed over Parkinson's disease.
Yeah, and it's a really interesting case because Parkinson's, as you know, is a progressive neurological disorder, right? And it's usually characterized by tremors, shaking, and difficulty moving.
Yeah, and this is all based on a book called Evelyn's Triumph Over Parkinson's, and is written by Lon Anderson, who worked with Evelyn directly. He is a psychologist with a background in counseling. He has degrees from Knoxville College and the University of Tennessee. Um, and what's really fascinating about this case is the unconventional therapy that Evelyn used. It was a 15-minute CD that was designed to regenerate neurons.
Whoa, that's certainly not a typical approach. Raises a lot of questions, right? Like, is this a miracle cure, or is there something else going on?
Yeah, so Evelyn's story kind of starts back in November of 2010. Anderson describes her symptoms of Parkinson's as full-blown at this point. Like, she couldn't even use a CD player because her tremors were so bad. But then fast forward just 2 weeks later, on November 16th, Anderson sees her walking around her apartment building, which she had been completely unable to do before.
That is incredible. I mean, to make that much progress in just 2 weeks, as we all know, Parkinson's doesn't usually just go away.
Exactly. Even Anderson himself describes being amazed, almost to the point of disbelief. And the progress didn't stop there. A month later, in December, he sees her walking around the building multiple times, even when it's freezing cold out. And then on December 17th, he saw her getting into a car without any tremors at all.
It really sounds like she was improving. I mean, what's so fascinating about this is like, how do we take this apparent recovery and like reconcile that with what we know about Parkinson's? Like, how could a 15-minute CD have such a huge impact, right?
Well, and if we're taking Anderson's account at face value, the progress just keeps going. In January of 2011, he saw her shampooing her hair with no problem, which she had struggled with before. He even describes her as being very cheerful. And he saw her taking out the trash, which, most people in her building wouldn't do, let alone someone who was struggling like she had been. So it seemed like she was gaining back her independence and her energy.
Those are really interesting details. I mean, because it suggests that it was more than just her tremors getting better, right? Like, it seems like her overall well-being was improving too.
And the momentum continued. A year later, in February of 2012, at a birthday party, Evelyn was taking pictures, like, with no problem. And this was such a stark contrast to an earlier party where she couldn't even hold the camera steady.
So we have this timeline, right, of Evelyn's apparent recovery. But the question still is, like, what role did this CD therapy actually play? Like, did it even have any effect at all?
Yeah, I mean, so this CD was supposed to promote neurogenesis, which is the creation of new neurons in the brain, right?
Right. And neurogenesis is actually really fascinating. Basically, it's how new neurons are made in the brain. So it's kind of like the brain replenishing itself.
Yeah, so instead of your brain function declining, there's
Yes.
potential for it to actually get better, right?
Exactly. Scientists used to think that neurogenesis only happened when we were young, but now research has shown that it happens even in adults, like in certain parts of the brain, like the hippocampus, which is really important for learning and memory.
Wow, that's incredible. So is it possible that the CD somehow like tapped into that process and caused new neurons to grow in the parts of Evelyn's brain that had been damaged by Parkinson's?
That's the million-dollar question. I mean, stimulating neurogenesis to treat things like Parkinson's is a really interesting idea.
Yeah,
But can a 15-minute CD really do that? I mean, can it really reverse Parkinson's symptoms? We have to be careful about that claim, right?
of course.
Yeah.
It does seem a little hard to believe. So if a science isn't really there yet, what other explanations could there be for Evelyn's like seemingly miraculous recovery? Like what else could have been going on?
Well, that's where things get even more interesting. We have to think about other possibilities, like the placebo effect, maybe spontaneous remission, or even other things that we haven't even considered.
Wait, the placebo effect? You mean just believing that something works could actually make a difference?
Yeah, exactly. It's actually a really well-documented phenomenon. When someone believes in a treatment, they can actually see real improvements in their condition. Even if the treatment itself doesn't do anything, it really shows you how connected the mind and body are and how our beliefs can impact us physically.
So like believing in something can actually help it work.
It's not quite as simple as mind over matter, but it does show that our expectations and beliefs can really affect our health. It reminds us that healing isn't just about treating the body, but also the mind and emotions.
Wow, that's a completely different way of thinking about health and recovery. It makes you wonder how much we don't know yet, or how many possibilities we're overlooking.
Absolutely. I mean, Evelyn's story, even if it wasn't directly caused by the CD, it still tells us a lot about the power of belief and the potential for the brain to heal in ways we don't fully understand.
Right, and it seems like we're moving into uncharted territory here, like beyond just conventional medicine.
In a way, yeah. We're exploring the cutting edge of neuroscience. And the human brain is still a mystery in so many ways. It's a place where the line between mind and body gets blurry. And it's a place where these seemingly impossible things happen, things that challenge our understanding of what's even possible.
Like Evelyn's recovery.
Exactly.
So spontaneous remission.
Ah, yes. It's like this medical mystery, right? It's when a disease goes away without any clear explanation. It's rare, but it does happen with Parkinson's sometimes.
So Evelyn's recovery, could that just be spontaneous remission? Like what if her body just healed itself?
It's possible, but it is rare. We don't really know why spontaneous remission happens, but it shows us that the body has this incredible power to heal itself, a power that we haven't figured out how to control yet.
It's like the body has this secret healing power just waiting to be activated.
Maybe it does. And Evelyn's story, whether it was the placebo effect, spontaneous remission, or some combination of things, it shows us that we don't have all the answers yet. There's so much we don't know about the brain, and its amazing ability to adapt and heal.
It's both humbling and exciting at the same time, right? It shows us how little we know, but it also shows us how many amazing possibilities are out there.
Exactly. And it shows us how important it is to keep doing research, to keep pushing the limits of science, and to be open to things that seem impossible at first.
It's like we're at the edge of this huge, unexplored forest. And we know that somewhere in there are secrets that could completely change how we understand health and healing.
And who knows what amazing discoveries we might find. Maybe we'll find the key to unlocking the full potential of the human brain and its ability to heal itself.
It's like Evelyn's story is a call to action, right? Like he's
Ah.
telling us to dig deeper into these mysteries and
Mm.
explore all these possibilities.
Yeah, I think you're right. Her experience, no matter what caused it, shows us how strong the human spirit is and all the amazing things that can happen when the mind, body, and belief all work together.
Yeah, we may not know exactly what caused Evelyn's recovery,
Mm.
but it definitely makes us think differently about healing. And it makes us approach these kinds of stories with a sense of wonder and curiosity.
Absolutely. Instead of ignoring things we can't explain, we should see them as opportunities to learn and grow and to explore all the mysteries that are still out there.
So what can our listeners do if they want to learn more about Evelyn's journey? Like what are some good places to start exploring?
Well, I'd say start with some of the things we've talked about today.
Like neurogenesis, the placebo effect, and spontaneous remission.
Exactly. Learning more about those things could help people understand the human brain better and see how amazing it really is.
Yeah.
And there are lots of resources out there for people who want to learn more about Parkinson's disease and all the research that's being done.
That's great advice. It reminds us that these deep dives are just the beginning. They're jumping off points for learning and discovering new things.
Yeah, and maybe as we explore these things, we'll find clues to help us unlock the secrets of healing and well-being, the secrets that have been eluding us for so long.
Evelyn's story has opened our eyes to so many possibilities, a world where what we think we know is constantly being challenged.
It's a world where the mind and body are more connected than we ever realized, and where the power of belief could be the key to unlocking our full healing potential.
It's a world where the journey is just as important as the destination, and where every new piece of knowledge gets us closer to understanding the amazing capabilities of the human brain.
That's a great way to put it.
So before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, there's one thing from Evelyn's story that I wanted to go back to. After she started to feel better, she was really tempted to start driving again. She even wanted to sell her car because she didn't need it anymore.
Oh, interesting. So she was feeling that much better, huh?
Yeah, she was feeling great, but the DMV had ordered her to stop driving because of her Parkinson's. And even though she was feeling better, she knew she had to follow their orders.
That's a really tough situation because it brings up some really important ethical questions about driving with Parkinson's. On one hand, people should have the freedom to make their own choices, but on the other hand, we have to keep everyone safe on the roads. It's a delicate balance.
It is. And it's something that a lot of people with Parkinson's and their families have to grapple with.
For sure, it's a reminder that even when it seems like someone is doing much better, it's important to remember that Parkinson's is a complex condition, and it can affect people in different ways.
Absolutely. And it's a reminder that we need to be sensitive and understanding and support people who are going through these challenges.
That's so important. It's all about creating a community of support. where people feel safe and understood, and where they can get the help they need to navigate the ups and downs of living with Parkinson's.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
So where do we go from here? If our listener is as captivated by Evelyn's story as we are, what are some avenues for further exploration?
Well, I'd say start with some of the things we've talked about today.
Like neurogenesis, the placebo effect, and spontaneous remission.
Exactly. Learning more about those things could provide valuable insights and a deeper appreciation for the complexities of the human brain and its incredible potential. There are also numerous resources available for those interested in learning more about Parkinson's disease and the ongoing research in this field.
Those are fantastic suggestions. It's a reminder that every deep dive is just the beginning of a journey of discovery, a springboard for further exploration and learning.
And perhaps in the process of exploring these avenues, we might even stumble upon clues that could help us unlock the secrets to healing and well-being that have eluded us for so long.
Evelyn's story has opened our eyes to a world of possibilities, a world where the boundaries of conventional understanding are constantly being challenged.
It's a world where the mind and body are intertwined in ways we're only beginning to comprehend, and where the power of belief might hold the key to unlocking healing potential we've yet to fully tap into.
It's a world where the journey of discovery is just as important as the destination, and where each new insight brings us one step closer to understanding the extraordinary capabilities of the human brain.
And who knows what other incredible discoveries await us? Perhaps within those secrets lies the key to unlocking the full potential of the human brain and its remarkable capacity for self-repair.
It's almost as if Evelyn's story is a call to action, urging us to delve deeper into these mysteries and explore the uncharted territories of human potential.
I think you're right. Her experience, regardless of the specific mechanism at play, is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the boundless possibilities that lie at the intersection of mind, body, and belief.
But while we might not have definitive answers about the cause of Evelyn's recovery, it certainly prompts us to think differently about healing and to approach these kinds of stories with a healthy dose of curiosity and wonder.
Absolutely. Instead of dismissing the unexplained, let's embrace it as an opportunity to expand our knowledge and explore the mysteries that still surround us.
So where do we go from here? If our listener is as captivated by Evelyn's journey as we are, what are some avenues for further exploration?
I'd encourage them to delve deeper into the topics we've touched on today.
Like neurogenesis, the placebo effect, and spontaneous remission.
Exactly. Learning more about these fascinating areas could provide valuable insights and a deeper appreciation for the complexities of the human brain and its incredible potential. There are also numerous resources available for those interested in learning more about Parkinson's disease and the ongoing research in this field.
Those are fantastic suggestions. It's a reminder that every deep dive is just the beginning of a journey of discovery, a springboard for further exploration and learning.
And perhaps in the process of exploring these avenues, we might even stumble upon clues that could help us unlock the secrets to healing and well-being that have eluded us for so long.
Evelyn's story has opened our eyes to a world of possibilities, a world where the boundaries of conventional understanding are constantly being challenged.
It's a world where the mind and body are intertwined in ways we're only beginning to comprehend, and where the power of belief might hold the key to unlocking healing potential we've yet to fully tap into.
It's a world where the journey of discovery is just as important as the destination, and where each new insight brings us one step closer to understanding the extraordinary capabilities of the human brain.
Yeah, it really makes you think about how much more there is to learn about healing.
It's like Evelyn's story is this, like, beacon shining a light on how complex the human brain is and how the mind and body are so connected.
That's a great point. Even though we can't say for sure that the CD was the reason she got better, it's still amazing that her progress kind of mirrored the process that the CD was supposed to stimulate.
Right. Like, at first she could barely move. And then little by little, she started walking again, doing everyday things, even taking pictures, like you said.
Yeah, it's like her recovery followed this path of getting more and more complex over time, which is kind of like the idea of neurogenesis, like gradually rebuilding connections in the brain and improving its function.
That's fascinating.
It's a really interesting parallel. And even though we can't say for sure that neurogenesis was the main reason she got better, it does make you wonder if all these different factors played a role together. Maybe believing in the therapy, combined with other things we don't even know about yet, created the perfect environment for her to heal, whether it was through neurogenesis or something else entirely.
So even though we might not be totally convinced about the science behind the CD, we can't ignore the power of the mind in healing. right?
Exact.
This whole thing about spontaneous remission that you mentioned earlier.
Ah, yes. Spontaneous remission. It's one of those things that we just don't fully understand. It's like sometimes a disease just disappears and we don't know why. It's not common, but it has happened with Parkinson's.
So could that be what happened with Evelyn? Like maybe her body just healed itself against all odds?
It's definitely possible, although it's rare, as I said. We don't know for sure why spontaneous remission happens, but it does show us that the body has this amazing ability to heal itself. It's just that we haven't figured out how to tap into that ability consistently.
Yeah, it's like the body has this hidden power, and sometimes it just kicks in.
Maybe it does. And Evelyn's story, whether it was the placebo effect, spontaneous remission, or some combination of things, it reminds us that we still have so much to learn. We don't have all the answers when it comes to the brain and its ability to adapt and heal.
It's kind of humbling, isn't it?
Mm.
But also exciting because it means there's so much more to discover.
Exactly. It shows us how important research is. We need to keep pushing the boundaries of what we know and be open to new ideas, even if they seem strange or impossible at first.
Right, it's like we're exploring this vast unknown territory, and there are so many amazing things waiting to be discovered.
And who knows? Maybe one day we'll find the key to unlocking the full potential of the brain and figure out how to harness its healing power.
It's like Evelyn's story is a call to action. It's telling us to keep searching, to keep asking questions.
I think you're right. No matter what caused her recovery, her story shows us the incredible resilience of the human spirit and the power of the mind-body connection.
And it reminds us to approach these kinds of stories with a sense of wonder and curiosity.
Absolutely. Instead of dismissing things we can't explain, we should embrace them as opportunities to learn and grow.
So what can our listeners do if they want to learn more about Evelyn's journey? Like, where should they start?
Well, I'd suggest diving deeper into the things we've talked about today.
Like neurogenesis, the placebo effect, and spontaneous remission.
Exactly. Learning more about those things can really open your mind. And there are lots of resources out there for people who want to learn more about Parkinson's disease and all the amazing research that's being done.
Those are great suggestions. It's a good reminder that our deep dives are just the beginning of the journey.
And you never know, maybe as people explore these things, they'll stumble upon something that helps us understand healing and well-being in a whole new way.
Evelyn's story has shown us that there are so many possibilities.
It's a world where the mind and body work together in ways we're only beginning to understand, and where the power of belief might be the key to unlocking our full healing potential.
It's a world where the journey is just as important as the destination.
And where every new discovery brings us closer to understanding the amazing capabilities of the human brain.
So we've talked a lot about the positive aspects of Evelyn's journey, but there was also a challenging side to her recovery. As she started feeling better, she was tempted to start driving again. She even considered selling her car because she felt like she didn't need it anymore.
Oh, wow. It sounded like she was really feeling like her old self again.
Yeah, she was doing great. But the DMV had told her she couldn't drive because of her Parkinson's. And even though she was feeling better, she knew she had to respect their decision.
That's a tough situation. It raises some really important ethical questions about driving with Parkinson's. On one hand, people should have the freedom to make their own choices, but on the other hand, we have to keep everyone safe on the road. It's a delicate balance.
It really is. And it's something that many people with Parkinson's and their families have to deal with.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that even when someone seems to be doing much better, Parkinson's is still a complex condition, and it can affect people in different ways.
That's an important point. It's a reminder to be understanding and supportive of people who are facing these challenges.
Exactly. It's all about creating a community where people feel safe and understood, and where they can get the support they need to navigate the ups and downs of living with Parkinson's.
I couldn't agree more.
It really is. And it makes you think Evelyn's story is kind of like a glimpse into the future of medicine, where we use the power of the mind along with traditional treatments.
Yeah, like a more holistic approach to healthcare, recognizing that the mind, body, and spirit are all connected.
Exactly.
And it shows us that sometimes the most amazing discoveries come from the cases that don't make sense, the ones that force us to question everything we thought we knew and explore new possibilities.
Evelyn's story is definitely one of those cases. It encourages us to embrace the unknown, to challenge what we think we know about science, and to never underestimate the power of healing that exists within each of us.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Evelyn's incredible journey, I want to leave our listeners with something to think about. If her experience, whether it was the placebo effect, spontaneous remission, or something else entirely, shows us the power of belief and the mind's ability to influence healing, What does that mean for our own health and well-being?
That's a really powerful question, and it's something that each of us can explore on our own personal journey. Evelyn's case, while unique, makes us think about the role of our mindset, our expectations, and our beliefs in our own health. It challenges us to look beyond conventional treatments and to embrace the connection between mind and body as we strive for well-being.
I think one of the most important takeaways from Evelyn's story is that we're not just passive bystanders when it comes to our health. We can actively participate in our own healing process.
Absolutely. We all have this incredible potential for resilience, adaptation, and renewal.
So as we end this deep dive, we encourage you to keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep seeking knowledge that empowers you to take control of your own health journey. Remember, Evelyn's story is just one example of the human body's remarkable ability to heal and thrive. Stay open-minded, stay curious, and never underestimate the power of belief.
And never stop exploring the amazing world both inside and outside of yourself.
That's a great way to put it. Until our next deep dive, keep those